Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Fulton Street Beats. This guitar is back by popular demand. This is probably one of the most requested guitars on the channel, and remarkably, it's a Chibson. Yes, this is the Ace Frehley Blue Burst Sparkle, Silver Burst, whatever you want to call it. It's awesome. Now, we're going to give you some interesting facts about this guitar, and then we're going to take it over on the bench, and we're going to tear into it and see exactly what makes this thing tick. Now, this is an exquisite example of a Chibson. One of the best that's ever came through here, and I think that's why a lot of you really like this guitar. Or maybe it's just the curiosity. Or maybe it's the fact that Gibson never actually built anything like this. Ace Frehley had a prototype, but Gibson never put the guitar into production. Well, China did. And they did a damn good job. This guitar came remarkably set up. It's great. It's beautiful. There's not one thing about this guitar that I can complain about. As a matter of fact, it's one of the only guitars in the studio that I haven't did anything to, not even change the strings, because everything worked so well together. And it holds tune remarkably well too. The nuts cut great. The fretwork is exquisite. The inlays are exquisite. The fretboard, that beautiful black ebony fretboard, is also exquisite. The pickups sound fantastic. And as you can see, they have the sparkle on the pickups themselves, something I haven't seen before. And that's really cool. So, yeah, it's an outstanding looking, playing, feeling guitar with a lot of heft to it. It feels legit. It plays legit. It sounds legit. But how can that be? Now, I forget what I paid for this. If you go back to the other videos, you'll know. But and the seller that I got it from, well, they ran out quickly. I think I got one of the last ones without ordering it from China. Now, a lot of you ask, Mike, what seller do you recommend? Listen, it's a crapshoot. I don't know. I recommend the ones that I buy from, I guess, but that doesn't mean you're going to get one like I got. Heck, some of the ones I get aren't so hot. But lately, they've been really, really good. Like the SG behind me on the wall. But I've done a lot of work to that guitar. Exceptional guitar out of the box. But I've done a lot of work to that guitar to make it, well, more authentic looking, even though it's not an authentic guitar. But in the end, it played better than my authentic Gibson SG Standard, which kind of blew my mind. And it's kind of my go-to guitar right now. Not that this wouldn't be a go-to guitar because, well, it's really nice. However, it's so pretty I don't play it. I don't play it much because it's so pretty. And that's just it. It's a beautiful piece to hang on the wall, and that's really why I bought it. I wasn't expecting this guitar to be so nice. And I mean, there's not a finish flaw on this guitar anyplace. And you know, we have almost a metallic flake in this. And a paint job like this to buy from an American company would be just crazy outrageous, right? I mean, this is done exceptionally well, guys. Is this a poly finish? Geez, I don't know. I haven't tested it. Sometimes we get a guitar and we'll get a nip or a nick or a chip on that guitar, and I actually can test the finish with a little acetone, or if I have to do a little nitro correction. That's a quick way of telling if you're doing any nitro restoration. Poly reacts differently. While poly will melt with acetone, nitrocellulose does it in a fashion that you can actually fix the nitrocellulose. You can't with poly. So there's a big difference there. So what is it? I'm not sure yet. We're not going to find out until we get a nick in it. I'm going to guess it's poly. So we'll just say that for all intents and purposes. But I can't be sure what it is because some Chibsons that I have been advertised as a poly finish and have came in with nitrocellulose. I think they're going more that route these days to get that desired effect. And people really like it. So there you go. Some people love it. Some people hate it. But I like it or I don't like it. I don't care as long as the guitar is pretty. But the function is amazing. It's got a really sturdy switch on it. It's got metal surrounds around the pickups. Yeah, they're metal. They're actually chrome-plated metal pickup surrounds, which I thought was really, really good and set up outstandingly. But let's get over to the bench and let's dive into this more. But first, before we do that, if you could hit that like button, share, and subscribe. If you like cool videos, you're not a guitar snob, and you like everything that's rock and roll, and just cool stuff to have around, regardless of where it comes from. This channel is for you. We stay more on the budget-oriented side, although sometimes for comparison, we get high-end things too. And then we find out that, well, are the high-end things worth it? Well, in the end, that's your decision. But it's my job just to bring you the facts compared to what they are. So if you see behind me on the wall, we have a brand spanking new Epiphone. And that is a Les Paul Slash edition. And they retail for right around $900, $900 to $1,000, depending on if they're on sale or not. It's an outstanding playing guitar. It sounds really good, and it looks really good. And it's an Epiphone. I will tell you that the build quality between this guitar and that guitar are, well, very good. Both of them. Which one is better? I have to say that Gibson is better. Why would I say that? Well, because a lot more went into the finish of this guitar than that guitar. I mean, it does have a beautiful top on it, and it is, well, obviously a poly finish. They're very upfront about that. But this has, well, better inlay work. It has, in my opinion, a more beautiful fretboard. It has better tuners on it. That's right. It has better tuners on it. The electronics, well, there we start to get a little different because, well, you know what? I haven't really dove into this guitar. We know it's going to have small pots in it. I'm sure of it. But they do work well and they sound good and the ear can't tell. And as a matter of fact, the way they feel, you would not know that. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we get in there and it's something totally different because I haven't even dove into this guitar yet. So maybe we get in there and it's something totally different that I'm not used to. But the feel of these pots, I wish I could convey it. And how they fade in and out is really, really good. Is there some kind of magic happening in there? I don't think so. I think the perfect setup really made this guitar, and whatever pickups they're using, whatever windings they're using on these pickups, it works. It works in all the positions. It's a very satisfying sound. I'm not getting any unwanted hum, any unwanted feedback, and as a matter of fact, my ears can't tell the difference. Now, that guitar's got some really hot pickups in it. That's right, they're hot, and they pull off the Guns N' Roses tones really, really well, where this guitar, honestly, seems like it was picked because of the Kiss tones, something you'd want with this guitar. So maybe there's more attention to detail now coming from China than we think. Well, I've rambled enough. Let's get over to the bench and check this thing out. Stay right there, and I will be right back. Okay, here we are at the bench. Now, as you can see, first thing we want to get out of the way is this guitar fits in a Gibson or Epiphone Les Paul case. That's right, the design is really spot on. They did an amazing job on this guitar. Now, I have heard that, well, they're not all this good, and I've heard that different necks, there's, well, different everything. And this is actually a quite thin neck on this compared to most. I'd say this is reminiscent now as far as necks goes. It's like a 61 as is G on this one. That's the only thing I really have to compare it to. It is definitely thinner than the Epiphone Slash that I have over right here on the wall. And keep in mind that guitar is, well, $800 to $1,000. But if we look in here, we're going to get a good look, and you'll notice that we do have the metal around here. And I've changed nothing on this guitar. This guitar is stock. Beautiful working knobs. We're going to come up here so you guys can really see these inlays here. And the fretwork. The fretwork is outstanding. This has just been kind of sitting on the wall. There might be a little dust on it, but it has beautiful bald end frets. That's right, they're rounded end frets. We have that beautiful Ace Frehley logo in there that's really well done. And if you guys can tell, there's no fill around these frets. You're not seeing like a lot of really anything. You can see the depth of the perloid, which is probably, I'm going to guess, like a type of acrylic, but still, nonetheless, done very well. Hence, the headstock shape is also dead on to what it should be. So they did a really good job there, as well as the rake of the neck. Exact angles it should be. We'll go over to the back here real quick here. And you can see, I mean, this finish is just outstanding. In the light, I don't even know if the camera can pick up just how good it is. But what an outstanding finish mirror on the back here. Ace Frehley signature with the card, of course. There's the Spaceman logo up top. We have the Gibson Historic mirror featured there. And we go up to the back here. We're going to go right up the neck here so you guys can see everything and see how well this is with the amazing binding too. That's right, there's not even bleed on the binding. This is a phenomenal, phenomenal job that really shows some craftsmanship. That kind of blows me away. And here's our tuners. They are Grover Rotomatic, and they actually look really legit on this guitar. These are identical font, everything, to my Rotomatics over here on the other guitar on the wall. And of course we have our serial number that is bogus and made in USA, which is also bogus. This came with a little, if I remember correctly, a little decal over the Made in USA in it, as well as the Gibson logo in the front. We're going to pan back here. Body thickness is identical to my Epiphone over here, which is also identical to a Gibson. So we know that is dead on. And they use the really nice, this isn't a bell-shaped strap button, they use the nice buttons so you can use your strap lock washers. They're flat, they're in nickel, and very, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to set you up here. Oh, we can go around this binding real quick. Let's go around this binding and check out this binding. Now, this is some of the nicest binding that I've seen. This binding is better than the binding on my Epiphone over here. It's simply better. There's bleed on the Epiphone. There's no bleed on this one. Really nice looking guitar. Works very, very well, and especially aesthetically, right? Okay, so let's see exactly, well, what makes it tick. Is it good? Is it bad? I mean, how bad can it be when it sounds this good, right? So here is our tailpiece. It's plated very, very well. Outstanding plating on this guitar, by the way. And here is our bridge. And the guitar is intonated properly, by the way. Now, this has been ground out in the back. And I don't know if you can see. It's been ground. So this said priorly Epiphone. You can see where it said Epiphone. So I don't know if they're using Epiphone seconds or what have you, but it's plated very well and it works very well. So I'm just trying not to mess with the action, but there you go. Let's pull a pickup and see exactly what we got. Let's pull this neck pickup. I'm curious. Here's our pickup. Ooh, okay. So yeah, the guitar is actually, what do we have on? It's labeled bridge. So, man, this, it's got a little heft to it, so it's wound pretty good. We have something says IT, it definitely is labeled bridge. It's definitely a 2-wire system. But are you guys seeing inside the routing here, how well that is? That is definitely CNC routing. So, and it's finished inside. Yeah, definitely CNC routed. Wow. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting a bare cavity. It kind of makes me want to pull the center to see if they did that all the way through. Matter of fact, why don't we do that? Why don't we pull the center? And I can tell that the guitar wasn't rushed. Do you know how you can tell? Because unlike, well, you see a lot of high-end brands, when they're rushed and they're put together immediately afterwards, you'll see indentations in the finish from where the finish was still soft. There's no indentation marks on this guitar. And that is definitely a good sign. That means the guitar was not rushed or thrown together quickly. It was actually, some time was taken with it. So this guitar obviously had time to cure before it was thrown together. Unlike the last Gibson we saw through here, which was actually, wow, even the pick guard on that, took the pick guard off and there was indentations all around the pick guard from the right into the nitro, and that was not good. And what have we labeled here? This is also a neck. So we have 2 neck pickups is what we're going to have, and that should be the way it is. Now look at your cavity. Look how this is ran, how nicely this is all ran in here. So yeah, this is all CNC done. And even underneath, if you can see here, up under here, this is not from a router. This is definitely a CNC machine that has done this, and it's done a remarkable job. So our routing for our wires is actually laid down into the guitar, so the wires are out of the way. Outstanding quality. So far, outstanding. Yeah, that's what I like to see. And once again, we don't have any indentations from the pickups rings sitting in here in the fin. Because if you guys want to see how the neck exactly is up in here, let's do that. Let's check that out. Okay, let's pull this pickup and see exactly what we got going on in here. here is our neck. We got a little bit, it's the first I've seen of it, compound right in here. And we have a cutout, and I'm not sure what it's for. But we have kind of, this has got a little compound in this one, but not the rest of them. We have a little, kind of an angle cutout right here. Not sure what that is, but man, that, if you can see here, that is one thick-ass neck piece right here. And so this is that compound off there. This is really set in there very well. This is a one big hunk of neck. Wow, that's pretty crazy. And we have all this area coming up through. So man, we're in one big hunk of neck. Nice. And if you can tell, this isn't two-pieced or sandwiched. That's one piece. Whoo! So that means they didn't heal this together. Here, they didn't piece it. They used one piece, and it's this neck, with the exception of the fretboard, of course, is a one piece going up to here, and they probably scarfed it, I'm guessing, up on top here. Is what I'm guessing, that they scarfed it in this area. That's usually what they do on these Chibsons, at least the newer ones anyhow. On my SG doesn't have a scarf joint. It must be in the headstock there. So, wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm impressed. You guys can tell if you worked with CNC machines before, you'll know that this is definitely CNC routed. So let's put this back together, or at least put a couple screws in it to hold it back together. And by the way, this pickup also, and so they use this, traditionally what they do is two neck pickups, and once again, no indentations in here. Two neck pickups, and then they use one bridge pickup. Ace Frehley didn't use this pickup. It would have been a smoke bomb. So at least in some of his guitars it was that way. So let's get a couple screws to hold this real quick and put these in place, and we'll flip this thing over and we'll check out the electronics in it. So once again, beautiful cover. I'm going to take it really easy with these. I have a feeling these are like a mirrored acrylic, so I'm going to take it very easy so we don't crack. One thing you want to be careful with these custom panels, I'm sure it would be quite pricey to replace one of these. Okay, so what I like to do is kind of find a little space if we can find one, because sometimes these covers are quite tight. That one is actually nice and snug, but not too tight. And there we go. So etched in the back, that's how they did that. And there is the front. So guys, are you ready? Listen, I know you guys just might have got a peek of this, but did you see what's going on in here? This is going to explain quite a bit. Are you ready? So keep in mind, Ace Frehley guitar, quite custom looking, right? Look what we have inside, guys. Look at this cavity, for one. And are you seeing it? That's right, we have large pots. We have large pots in there. Green pills, but large pots. One of the first large pot knockoffs that I've seen. Now, I didn't order it like this. It came like this. So there we go. Full-size pots in in a Gibson. Wow, things are getting better. They are looking up. And once again, definitely CNC routed. And this is definitely mahogany too. So I'm going to get in here and I'm going to see how they did this. So is it one piece mahogany? No, it is definitely not one piece mahogany. This is two pieces of mahogany. We have one piece here and we have one piece down here. They're about yay thick, actually. Let's measure that. Top piece will be thicker than the bottom, but it is over an inch on the back side. And then what I can measure here is about another inch plus whatever they're using on the top. So yeah, very, very thick and pressed this way. Didn't see a seam in the pickups, by the way, so it tells me that they're using one piece and sandwiching it together this way, but not this way, if that makes sense. Let's pull back here. And let's dive into the switch cover. Definitely better quality than the SG that just came through here, the legit Gibson. And once again, that's how they do their engraving there on the back. And there that is. Okay. And it's not a boxed switch or anything like that. If I can get you in there. I'm not going to pull it out, but a little compound right there. But once again, definitely CNC done. decent switch in there, wired correctly. So they did a real good job on this guitar. Jack plate, by the way, if you guys didn't notice, it is metal on this guitar. Total thickness of the side of this guitar, by the way, and I'm gonna double check this to make sure. And the edges, not the center, because it is a bubble top. So we're about 2 inches. I'm going over to my Les Paul over here. They're the exact same. So they're the exact same thickness. So body specs on this guitar, identical. Gibson never built this guitar. They never manufactured it. They never put it into production. Let me get you close here again so you can see this fretwork. Once again, we're going to pull the truss rod cover off here shortly. But outstanding fretwork, outstanding inlays. This is one of the smoothest fretboards I've ever felt in my life. There's no rough inlays. Everything is just so smooth. Look at this inlay work. And this is nice, so nice. Can barely see any fill. And look at this. I'm up close now. So basically this is macro that we're using now, and you can see the detail in that. Amazing. And these are what appear to be stainless steel frets, although I can't verify that, but I would not be surprised. Let's get into the truss rod. Truss rod cover. Let's remove that. Oh, there is our, it's not way down in there. There is our truss rod adjustment right there. Looks like it's way in here on camera, but it's not. It's actually very, very close and very well done. This is mahogany. I can tell this is mahogany neck. Tell just by the color. Definitely mahogany. Definitely not maple. So yeah, they use mahogany all the way through. Very, very nice. A lot of guys, you ask, how do you know? Well, I built custom drums for a long time. I worked with a lot of woods. I know the different species, the variants, and without getting crazy technical, there's just certain things that you can tell. Weight and density is a big one. So, but yeah, color is another big one. And we're looking at a mahogany guitar. Very, very cool. Now, you guys have already heard this guitar, so we're not going to do it on this episode. But if you want to go back, I'll leave a link. There'll be a video link at the end of this. It'll pop up for you. And it's going to give you the tones of this guitar as I pulled it out of the box. Right out of the box, factory. Really just tuning it up. So, and it is what it is. It's a gorgeous guitar that plays amazing. I'll leave a link to the seller again if I can find it. That doesn't mean you're going to get one like this, guys. So as always, buy at your own risk. You're adults, and you take your own risks. You take your own chances. You may get a good one. You may get a bad one. I don't know. But if you can find one like this, man, you just scored big time in the world of guitars. Thanks for watching Fulton Street Beats. Guys, if you could hit that like button, share, subscribe, and as always, remember, it is rock and roll that makes the world do that twirly thing, baby. I'll talk to you later, guys. Peace. Bye.